What's up, guys? So in this video today, I'm going to answer a question about what the heck is the microbiome? What is your gut bacteria? Is it something you need to worry about? If you wait till the very end of the video, I will give you my recommendation about whether you need to get your microbiome tested. Coming up next. So for those of you guys who are joining me for the first time, my name is Dr. Samir Islam. Yes, I am a poop doctor. Think of me as your poop guru. And my passion is to give you tips and tricks to help out with your gut health. If you're new to these video series, I would encourage you to click on the subscribe button and follow me on all my social media pages. I do a lot of videos on product reviews, gut health, medical health, and a lot of different topics, including educational videos just like this. At any point in time during the video, if there's a question or something I talk about, click on the show notes down below and I will give you more information about that. But in this video today, we're going to talk about, number one, what the heck is the microbiome? Number two, how do doctors test about this? Number three, do these tests work? And at the very end, I will give you my recommendation about whether we need to test for the microbiome. So what exactly is this microbiome? So this is the idea that there is something within the gut bacteria that can really affect a lot of what's going on in your health, both in the gastrointestinal tract and also outside the gastrointestinal tract. The microbiome actually starts as soon as you have been born. And there are a lot of people who can have a change in their microbiome starting from the very beginning, whether you have a C-section, whether you were delivered naturally, whether you get an early set of antibiotics, certain foods that you eat, if you're breastfeeding or not. There's a lot of different factors that go into the microbiome. But in essence, it's a colony of bacteria in your GI tract that can really play a role in a lot of gut issues, including Crohn's disease, maybe irritable bowel syndrome, maybe small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, but also outside the GI tract as well, including things like maybe autism, maybe Parkinson's, maybe other issues beyond the GI tract. It's very unclear exactly what the microbiome plays a direct role in, but we do know there are conditions in which it does play a role in. We do know there are some conditions in which it might play a role in as well. So how exactly do people test the microbiome? Now, it actually sounds really weird. We actually take a sample of your poop and we look at it under a microscope. I would hate to be the person who actually has that job. I mean, imagine putting that on your LinkedIn profile or your CV. Hey, I am a guy that looks at poop and sees what the bacteria is. This is actually how we do this. And so a lot of these studies, whenever they test the microbiome, they actually have laboratories in which they actually look at the poop under a microscope, analyze it, sequence it, and sees actually what bacteria is growing inside the poop. And based on that, we can determine whether this bacteria is bad or good, whether it may play a role in a particular condition in which we're studying them. And we know that there are some specific microbiomes or some specific gut that can play a role in terms of making your gut microbiome better or worse. We know if there's an imbalance of the microbiome, whether there's more bad bacteria, whether there's more good bacteria, this can cause a role in terms of a lot of clinical conditions, IBS, obesity, Parkinson's. It's kind of nebulous in terms of what are the specific roles in which this can play in. Now, do these tests work? I'll be frank with you, we just don't know the answer to this. We don't know if these tests actually do work. We do know that there is some data based on really good trials that it can work or may not work, but we also know that the data is very out there. We just don't have a clear idea if these tests are work. The important thing to also realize is that correlation does not mean causation. What I mean by that is if you look at a study, you see that, hey, this bacteria X, there is a correlation between that and developing obesity. We don't know if that bacteria X actually causes obesity or not. Just because there's a link doesn't mean there's an actual cause for that as well. And so before we can really say that the microbiome actually plays a significant role in your gut health or even health outside the GI tract, we don't have really good studies to say that it does. And so because of that, I don't recommend for you to get your microbiome tested. I personally think as of this point in time, it's a waste of your money. Now, there are a lot of companies that are out there that's going to tell you, hey, I can check your microbiome and I can tell you based on this, we have a clinical profile, and that clinical profile leads you to have a condition like IBS, Crohn's, autism, and whatnot. But I can really guarantee you that those companies, number one, they don't have very good clinical trials. Number two, correlation does not equal causation as well. And number three, me as a physician, I don't know what to do with that data because I don't know if that data is legitimate. I don't know if those studies are real. I don't know what to compare that to. I don't know what a normal microbiome is. And more importantly, we don't really know what an abnormal microbiome is. And so in my opinion, I really do think you may be wasting your money and wasting your time for a study which I cannot use, which I cannot help out with in terms of making a decision based on your gut health and your overall health as well. And so in my opinion, I would not recommend getting these microbiome tests. I don't think they work as of this point in time. The data is not really clear in terms of what the gold standard is. We just don't know exactly what a company's, what they consider a normal or an abnormal result. They don't have any good correlation between what they find, what clinical condition you may be looking out for as well. So in summary, we do have the microbiome is real. There are a lot of suggestions to suspect that the microbiome can play a role. A lot of gut health, maybe extra GI health as well. Parkinson's, obesity, diabetes, autism, who knows? The microbiome is present in the GI tract, and we do know that we can test for this, especially in clinical labs that are specifically set up for these testing. However, I will tell you it's just the beginning of analyzing the microbiome. We're just in the very early stages for this, and we're starting to realize how much of a role this can play both in your gut health and your overall health as well. But in my opinion, at this point in time, it is best to skip those testing for now because we really don't have a lot of good clinical data about whether the microbiome plays a significant role. But more importantly, these companies that are doing these tests, they don't really have a good correlation or causation between what they're testing, what disease actually comes from their particular testing. And thank you guys for joining today. My poop question for you today is, have you actually had your microbiome tested? I'm really curious. Have you had it tested? Have you had a doctor look at it? What were your results from that? Did you have a change in your gut behavior or a change in your health from this? Comment down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about whether you have had your microbiome tested or not. Well, thank you guys for joining me today. Every Tuesday around this time, I do a Facebook Live where I try to delve into one topic for the week to help out with your health. And every Thursday, I do a Poop Tip Thursday where I drop a poop bomb based on your questions. Yes, these are actually your questions that you give me. I try to answer them for the week to help out with your gut health. I want to thank you guys for joining today. Make sure you click subscribe on the page, and every Friday around 10 a.m. I will post this video on YouTube. Don't forget to click subscribe. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you guys on more videos. Thanks and take care. All right, let's talk about the microbiome. Poop, 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 poop. Man, I would hate to be the guy that actually has to look at poop under the microscope. I mean, that job just sounds like it sucks. I mean, that's just just imagine on your LinkedIn profile, first line, I am a guy that analyzes poop. I don't know exactly how you can really how you can imagine just putting that on there. It's got to be a hard job to do, and I'm glad that I don't do that. Though I will tell you that a lot of people ask me, hey, you kind of have a crappy job. I'm like, yes, I do. I literally do, but that's okay.